Couple of years ago, in the common room of my seminary, I was sitting and eating lunch with a friend at a very tiny, very crowded table. Another friend walked by us, clearly looking for someone she knew, with whom she could sit down and eat. I said, "Oh, please join us. We can make room. Pull up a chair." And she said, "No, it's fine. I think I'd rather not." "Really? Please, we can make space." "No, thank you," she said. And as she walked away, I didn't understand what had just happened. I was trying to be friendly and inviting, but something in me told me it wasn't received that way. What did I say? Later on, my friend pulled me aside, like a good friend does, and she said, "Tara, I need you to understand what happened there. You told me to pull up a chair, but there was clearly no space at the table, nor was any space going to be made. That table was tiny, and there really wasn't even room for another chair. So to be honest, it really wasn't actually welcoming at all. The only space that would have been made for my friend was space she made for herself. I always have to pull up my own chair," she said to me. I apologized for the impact my gesture had on her, and we moved on. But I spent a lot of time reflecting on that incident. For ultimately, it opened my eyes and heart to some truths about what an ongoing commitment to welcome might really look like. There's a lot of table symbolism in the church. A great banquet table we dream of, getting everyone at the table, sitting at the welcome table, bringing an issue or an idea onto the table. Religious community has a lot to do with what is on and who is at the table. But lately, I've been thinking about the chairs. I've been thinking about the chairs and what they say about hospitality and what they say about welcome. And I've been thinking about how the ways in which we extend hospitality and welcome reflect not only who we are, but who will arrive at our table. I'll share this morning a few of the critical moments that have led me to this table and how they have shaped my own understanding of and commitment to radical welcome. After Nordic ski racing on the national level in high school, I began college and my journey of collegiate racing. Skiing was my entire life. It was my community, my mental health care, my free time, my motivation, my topic of conversation. I was completely obsessed. So you can imagine what it felt like when, after just 2 years of college racing, I began to struggle with significant health challenges. All physical activity was off the table. In that first summer of illness, I found myself living in Bozeman with a group of teammates. We had all found jobs and internships with various organizations in town, and we made the trek from our college in Maine so that we could get in a few months of training together at altitude and in the beautiful mountains before returning to school in the fall. Except instead of spending the summer running and hiking in the mountains like I had intended, I found myself in treatment, fighting for my health. To understand how I ended up in church, you need to understand that Sunday is a very important day in the training week for Nordic skiers. Sunday is what we call an overdistance day. Overdistance workouts were long trail runs or day-long hikes in the mountains. They were bike rides or roller skis that took up the entire morning. And they were very rarely done alone. In my years as a competitive athlete, overdistance workouts had always been community time. Time for laughing together and telling stories as we moved our bodies in the fresh air. Opportunities for friendship and bonding. It was really the range of possibilities for these overdistance Sundays that brought us out to the Gallatin Valley that summer. So one Sunday, when my teammates went out for a day-long hike, and I was unable to join them, I was desperately lonely. And I began to think about what I could do, about where I could go. What do normal people do on Sundays? And then a thought popped into my mind, people go to church on Sunday. What a thought, right? I wasn't raised in a religious family. The overdistance workout had always been my athlete parents' version of worship as well. And at the time, I was weary of Christianity. So when through my web search, I stumbled upon a church that appeared to be theologically open and had rainbow flags on their site, I decided if I was going to try a church, it should probably be this one. Plus, they met at a senior center, and I love old people, so it really couldn't be that bad. And so I made my way down North Tracy that morning and arrived at church, the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Bozeman. Alone, 19 years old, and probably, due to my health, looking like hell. And the timing was good, as it was one of the final services before the summer break. You made me a name tag and showed me around the space. You showed me where the bathroom was and handed me an order of service. I sat alone near the back. We sang a Jerry Garcia tune, which Bruce reminded me when we met this morning was Ripple. And I heard beautiful readings, and the minister wore a purple robe. I shook hands with all sorts of people after the service, and somebody handed me a cup of coffee. I got hugs, and one of you, upon hearing I would be returning in the winter to visit my brother who lived in town, invited me to your home for Christmas. We are so glad you are here, you said to me. I left that morning with a very particular feeling in my body, one that I recognized, but I couldn't figure out what it was. Eventually, I put my finger on it. It was that same feeling I had running outside in the mountains on a sunny day with my teammates, laughing and sharing stories. It was connection, purpose, belonging. That feeling was a feeling of home. And Unitarian Universalism has been my home ever since. You see, for me, there was already a chair at the table. I'm white. I am liberal. I'm a cisgender woman raised in Northern New England. I'm educated. I'm able-bodied. I feel that I can be all of who I am in Unitarian Universalism. I feel that all of who I am is worthy, and all of who I am is welcome. And that feeling has changed my life and is shaping the course of my future. But in 2015, when I was really beginning to dive into the life of the church, I learned about a hiring controversy within the UUA, which exposed structures and patterns of institutional racism and white supremacy culture within our denomination. As I was finding a home in and falling in love with this faith tradition, my eyes were simultaneously opening to its brokenness and its imperfection. While I was held and loved and cared for by the church I joined, my experience was not a universal one. And yet, my ministry is grounded in the belief that Unitarian Universalism can save lives. It certainly saved mine. How about you? My ministry is grounded in the love and the care and the welcome that I experienced on that warm morning on North Tracy Ave. But what pulls me deeper onto the path of ministry in this tradition, this imperfect and at times broken tradition, is the very reality that we have not yet arrived. I know this because people are still expected to pull up their own chairs. The reality is that in Unitarian Universalism, people of color are welcome, but expected to conform to a culture of whiteness. Differently abled people are welcome, but we prioritize the maintenance of historical buildings over their accessibility. Poor people are welcome, but never told from the pulpit that if they cannot contribute to the offering plate, their presence is and always will be enough. Families are welcome, but expected to somehow keep babies and toddlers quiet. Trans and non-binary people are welcome, but can't find the gender-neutral bathroom and are left to constantly explain that they, them, there is indeed a singular pronoun. Youth and young adults are welcome too, but are burdened with questions about college and jobs and continuously referred to as the future of our faith, as if they are not the present. And so I ask, for whom is there a chair? And who must pull up their own? At our denomination's General Assembly in 2019, the Reverend Susan Frederick Gray spoke about welcome. There is a difference, she said, between pronouncing all are welcome and building a community where all can feel at home. There is a difference between pronouncing all are welcome and building a community where all can feel at home. If we pay close attention, we might notice that people in our own communities are hurting, that we are not all feeling at home. And in these moments, we are called to listen, to make space for somebody else's truth that might not match up with our own experience. To hear the impact of our welcome was far from what we intended. It takes humility and deep care to listen in this way. And it is this work of listening, of loving, and of building community in community, of creating a faith home, a table of radical welcome to which I am called and to which I commit my life. And so I ask UUFB community, what is your call? What does radical welcome mean to you? The Reverend Dr. Natalie Fenimore writes, I'm in love with the Unitarian Universalism that does not yet exist. But, she continues, I have to hold both the love for that thing and the love for the reality. It does not yet exist. It will probably not exist in my lifetime, but I can't deny my love for it. We will never be perfect. And so I hope we might let go of our striving to be so, because I would like to focus on the chairs. I would like to be able to say, come, welcome home. There's a chair at the table just for you. May it be so. May we make it so. Amen.